Hello everybody, welcome back to In My Shed. I'm BC. Today I'm going to be talking a bit about tool and cutter grinder stops, where and how to use them for some of the circumstances. It's quite a big field, but a bit of a demonstration I think should be put forward. But first, good news. Second issue of my magazine is up on the internet, so go to HMSMEA and click on the icon on the front page and you can have a free read. Some very good articles in there put in by some good contributors, and I hope it'll give you a bit of a riveting read. During the next week we'll try and get a bookcase together so you can have a look at both bags. We had to delete the old one and put a new link up, but hopefully we'll be able to get both up there. So hold on to your undies, I'll zip into the next room, put my hat on high speed, and we'll look at some tool and cutter grinder stops. Bye for now. G'day again guys. Okay, we're down up to little Clarkson, and for some reason this comes out of the factory without a table stop, so I don't know why it was designed for pass through or past grinding only. It doesn't make much sense to me, but it required a stop for a job I was doing a while ago, and I bought this decorative item to use as a milling vise stop, and all I did was bolt it to the top table on the Clarkson, and I think I adjusted the rod to butt up against the frame on the inside. Bit of a crude setup. To use it a bit more extensively I needed really an expander nut on the end here to give it a fine adjustment, but it just shows one way you can solve a problem fairly easy by adapting another machine part, and still usable on the milling machine, but I got out of strife there. We'll move on to the serving machine and show you a homemade setup, and I'll get in behind the camera there because we have to really zoom in to get a close look, so just be a sec. Okay, these stops were set up by a fellow I had grinding cutters many years ago, and I'll move my fat head over. The particular grinder has a T-slot in the table and a T-slot at the front of the machine on the saddle. Now this stop is bolted down into this slot, just in the butting face, and this was originally a piece of stainless steel angle. So that stays stationary, and I'll swing you around now and show you what the moving stop is like. A little bit on the crude side, but it does work quite well when you need a stop. And this is just a block of steel welded to a bit of angle at the back that's bolted into the T-slot, and then adjust the nut through there. So that moves along, hits the fixed stop, works very, very well. So you can make stops yourself. Okay, now we'll move along to the little wrong foo and have a look at what it's got. Okay, here's the wrong foo. We've seen this machine in many videos, and soon I'll explain what the stops are used for. But this is a very simple setup once again. Just a stop plate, an adjustable stop. You undo the Allen key bolt and you can slide the stop bar or stop bolt backwards and forwards in the slot there. Not adjustable except for the sliding action, so to trim it up isn't all that easy. But I'll show you how I set it up for doing the inside facet on the annular cutters later on, and it'll come to light then. So now we'll move across to the TOS, which is the Rolls-Royce of machines that I have. Okay, here we are at the big TOS machine. It's one of the Rolls-Royce of old style surface tool and cutter grinders, and it's got really good adjustable spring-loaded stops, so we'll zoom in on that. And there you can see the handle that unlocks it to slide along in the T-slot. You adjust the nut on the left and a spring-loaded plunger on the right. It's a good solid stop, but you need it because the table weighs a couple of 100 kilos, and if you're going to bring it up abruptly, you need something like this. The table does move very easily. It glides on continuous roller chains, but if you work that table back and forwards for a whole day, you've probably shifted about 50 tonnes of bloody steel. You'd have a big arm. And right in the middle, there's the micrometer stop, great big thimble, easy to read, and if you're doing very intricate cutters or form work, this was originally set up with the form relief grinder that I grind countersinks with. You really need a micrometer stop like that to get the accuracy, and probably even a shadowgraph or a profile projector to do good work. They're the Rolls-Royce stops, but they don't fit any other machine, so they stay where they are. Now we'll go back to the wrong foo. I'll put a big annular cutter up in the collet chuck in the workhead, and we'll see what this facet grinding and stops is all about. Back to you soon. Okay, this is a bit hard to view, I just can't get the camera in here, but I'll give you a rough idea and then I'll hold the camera by hand to get in nice and close. I've got the cutter where it will finish up, so what I start to do is I bring the cutter in across the face of the wheel until the wheel outer edge goes past the facet that I want to grind, but not far enough to grind the following tooth or the back of the leading tooth. Now I'll undo the stop and move the stop to the left till it contacts the stop plate. So every time I go to grind, I come back to exactly the same position. So go out, come to the, now the stop won't bloody work. Come back to the next tooth and index in. So now I'll dismount the camera and try and bring you in for a really close look. Okay, I'm using the tripod as a monopod now, so it's a bit wobbly. But you can see the tooth moves across the face of the wheel and up against the stop, and that's as far as it'll go. So you can repeat that, index a tooth, come back in again, and that's as far as you want to engage. Now this is where adjustable stops are a little handy. You can do fine adjustments down there, but we've only got fixed stop on this one. So I hope that explains it a little bit better. It is something that's hard to see from out there. I'm sorry about the wobbly last shot, but it's the only way I can get this in this cramped little shop. So please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next weekend.